Oh, I guess it's always blue. I'm so blue, blue. Psych! I'm sorry. Welcome to the Fish. My name is Patrick. Welcome. I'm like, where's my camera? Hello, it's right there. Hey y'all. Oh, whew. Let me take care of this real quick. What are y'all doing today? I hope everyone had a heavy eclipse last night. You know, that full moon. I went outside, I looked at it. My girl Mimi was like, "Oh, the moon is so beautiful tonight." I was like, "Oh snap! Well, let me go out there." It was so yellow, and I'm used to like all the super moons we had at the beginning of the year. So I was like, "Why does it look so small?" I was like, "Oh, it's not a super moon. That's why." You know, not that size always matters, but you know. Let me see. Make sure I put this on live, just in case. I actually slept last night, y'all. So I don't know if it's the mental. I don't know if it's a mental thing or if it's an actual thing, but for some reason, around lunar eclipses, my sleep is just like effed up. I'm moving these windows around. But last night I got tired. I started to get tired. And I was like, well, let me go ahead and hit this sleep then because I ain't trying to catch a second wind and be up all night. And there we go. That's not what I wanted to do. I know I got like a million things going on. I'm extra, okay? I get it from my mama and my daddy. And that whole side of the family. Extra runs on that side of the family. Can I still keep this? Oh, let me keep it. Work. Okay. I'm gonna get this figured out eventually one day, y'all. Da, 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 da. I do want to go on the record and publicly apologize to my girl Mimi, even though she ain't here. I apologized to her after. Not necessarily apologize, but I was like, you know what? You was right. I think it is for me to lighten up a little bit. I ain't always got to be so serious. Like the Joker said, why so serious? And um, and it's also interesting because the other day, if y'all recall, a few days ago, I was like, the Queen of Swords came out as my blockage. What's that about? I was like, well, maybe it's because like I don't care enough. It's like, no, you need to unbunch a little bit. I was gonna say something, but that's fine. I just need to unbunch a little bit. So there we go. Then this light is like right in my face, so y'all can kind of sort of see me up here in this little corner, in my little corner of the screen. This is all just that pre-shuffle layout stuff. I had some really, really interesting dreams last night, and it started off with like Billy and Mandy from back in the. I haven't seen the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy in a minute. But it started off with the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Billy was up to some foolishness, girl. I was low key kind of skirts. Because at first I was just watching it, and then I was like in it. I'm like, I was like, Mandy, girl, he behind you. Mandy, run. Mandy, like, what? And then I got it, and I black out, and then I wake up, and it's like some outer space type of something or something. Girl, I don't know. And then there was like a beacon or some kind of power thing, and we finally got it on, and then I was somewhere else, and then it was about Kirby, but it wasn't Kirby. It was just like some kind of creature that had the ability to do all that Kirby stuff. And then there was some old man in some secluded place that was by himself. It was so much. It was kind of wild at some points though. And then I was at school. Was it high school or middle school? What happened in school? All I know is I think it was middle school. And I ended up leaving because I was like, I'm not even a student anymore, so I'm just going to go. And I'm like, I have so many dreams set in school where I'm not even a student. But it's like, so why am I here? And was I leaving school? I don't know. It was just a bunch of different random things mashed up all together. Like any of the dreams I would have had while I wasn't able to sleep just all hit me at once. They were all released. And I'm like, oh, okay, work. Cool. I'm drinking strawberry hibiscus today. I ain't got no peaceful meditations playlist on because, you know, it's about me. The cards that came out are the moon, which is interesting. Now, I shuffled up, and these I just pulled off the top. So we get the moon, the ace of cups, the nine of swords, the five of swords, and the healer. And both of these cards came out yesterday. So if we want to separate these a little bit, I still ain't got my whole little whatchamacallit situation figured out, which is fine. I'm not a setup queen. I could be, but the reason why, like, I can be a perfectionistic. I can be a perfectionist to the point of like I don't get anything done because it'll never be right. Like I'm not that great at getting things to line up straight, and it will constantly bother me, and so I just don't try. I try what I think is an appropriate amount, and then I'm like, oop, over it. Oh, the keeper is at the bottom of the deck. You don't see that? The keeper, girl, she's been popping up a lot lately. Whenever the keeper comes out a lot, you know you're at like a pretty significant moment. I did my upload on my legacy channel today. I think I like that. I'm gonna just do a quick little whatever over there, and then over here I did the actual stuff. Also, I'm gonna chill a little bit, y'all. Yesterday, when I said I feel like I wasn't good in a past life, I don't think I was evil. I think I was silent. And there was something I could have done, something I could have said, some way I could have stepped up, and I didn't. And that has been my experience so far this lifetime, too. There's a lot of times when, like, I know something ain't gonna go right, but I won't say anything. I'll just sit back and watch the tragedy unfold. And I can't do that, apparently. And then, you know, you get used by people, you get taken advantage of by people, you get hated on. I'm just like, you know what? I'm good without people. Like, people are a headache and a half. But that's what I've been working. That's another thing that I've been working on in the past year and a half now. Over a year and a half, actually. And it started with my family, and then it branched out to other people, and now it's just like people in general. You know, can't always be of the mindset that people will learn based on their mistakes. Sometimes you got to be a team player. With the three orbs, the mason. There you go. Sometimes you got to be a team player. Bottom of the deck is, what's this? Oh, the four wands. I was like, what is this? With the ace of swords right behind it. The demiurge. We saw you yesterday too, and that three of pentacles. I probably won't be on too long today. Again, I hope everyone had a good last night. I finally got some sleep. Like some sleep. I went to bed early. It was the earliest I went to bed in a minute. Because I ain't been able to sleep. I don't know what it is about those lunar eclipses that just like screw with my sleeping schedule. What's this? I need more light than what I got on. Yeah, that's the Destroyer. The Destroyer and the 10. The Destroyer and the Wheel of Fortune. So 2 10s. And the Destroyer actually came out first with the moon. When I did that full moon lunar eclipse Capricorn thing a few days ago. The Destroyer was the first card that came out. So with that wheel popping up, it's like things have been set in motion. Also, go listen to Mary Mary, Go Get It. I feel like there may be a message in there for some of us, for y'all's. I love that song. I could just play it because I'm not gonna get demonetized. There's that Wheel of Fortune again. Ten of Swords, the Five of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Three of Cups. Can y'all see all these? This is interesting. So I already talked about the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords, when it first came out, was like, if there's something that you haven't put away that you know you need to put away, girl, you're gonna wish you had put it away. Because things are about to, like, if it don't fit, it's about to cause a ruckus. And then with the Five of Cups, it's going to have you in that state. There may have been an emotional tie to it. There's some kind of tie to it, or else you just leave it, right? But with the Five of Cups, I would say that for some things and for some people, it is my personal belief sometimes that whenever we're in a situation that we no longer need to be in, we'll encounter an increased amount of friction. Guess I could move these down since I got my face up though. See, I can do something like that. Oh, no, there we go. Oh, I can't flip horizontal. They only let me flip vertical. I'm going, girl, what's that about? Can I do both, please? Sometimes it causes an increased amount of friction, and it isn't necessarily that whatever it is won't work or will never come back, or that it's meant for you to completely cut ties. Always, it's not always that that's meant to be the case. But sometimes if we are sort of stuck and or complacent in a space that we're not supposed to be in anymore, we'll encounter that increased friction to get us out of it, right? So it may be more drama, it may be more hours, it may be whatever. It's more of a headache, more of a hassle. Like, why are you so irritable? Why am I so frustrated and irritated so easily? It's like, because it's time for you to move. And so with that Five of Cups, I'm actually feeling like it does kind of sort of feel like a goodbye after this Ten of Swords. But like, you don't necessarily have to be bitter about it, right? I don't think it needs to be so extreme that like you severely dislike somebody and you never go back ever. It's just like, okay, you are showing me that it is my time to move on, at least for now. And so with a maybe heavy heart, I'm going to do that. And then we got this Wheel of Fortune bringing this Three of Cups. So it's like, as you put this to bed and walk away from this, it leaves enough space for this to come in. And this would be what you want. What's at the bottom of the deck? Bottom of the deck is that Archangel of Glory, that King of Wands. The King of Wands actually came out on my Legacy channel today. And I think that some of the reason why... Oh, wow! Cutting to that Ten of Cups and this King of Wands. So many cards that I saw yesterday. And it ain't like I pulled a whole deck of cards yesterday. What was I about to say? What was I saying? I think one of the reasons why I don't have some of the features... Let me go up here so y'all can see me shuffle. On my Legacy channel is because that channel I got before Google... I had it before Google bought out YouTube. And because on this channel, I go in my subscription tab, I got community posts and videos and everything else. I'm like, what? I can get community posts on my thing and not have to go to the community post tab where I only see like 4 people and I don't see nobody else's community posts? I don't know. Maybe it's old, it's outdated. The Four of Cups. I talked about the Four of Cups today, and the Four of Cups came out at the bottom of the deck. So let's clarify this. Because over there, so the message over there today, if you didn't watch it, was basically, and I put it in the description, like a shortened version. It's basically like whatever we want, whatever we're going for, is going to require a greater amount of authenticity from us to get it. And so if there's any masks, any charades, any characters that you're playing, any worries, any doubts, any fears, work through it, because, or it was like, or you may be too attached to the way things were. The King of Wands came out, and that's fixed fire, right? Fixed is unchanging, fire is desire. So there's something that maybe you wanted from the past, or some way that you went about going after you want in the past, something that maybe impressed some people in the past that won't get you to where you're going. And with the chariot coming right after that fixed energy, it's a complete 180 and it's actual movement. Um, but sometimes when we're sort of fixed on the things that we used to want, we don't see the things that we actually want when they come into our purview, into our field of vision. When they come into our field of vision or our purview and perusal. I be using some of these words sometimes, and it's like all I got is context clue. Oh my gosh, there's that Ten of Cups again. Okay, work. Bottom of the deck this time is the Queen of Cups, the Ivory Shield. I'm using these words sometimes, and it's like all I got is like the context that I learned it in or heard it in a long time ago. Also, I got my I know this is really random, but I just opened my phone and I see my Amazon delivery notification. I got my Kasuri Methi today, my dried fenugreek leaves. Now, I don't know what a fenugreek leaf is or a fenugreek is, but I know that Kasuri Methi is something that you cook with. And so I have everything today except the garam masala, and the garam masala comes tomorrow. And so tomorrow I'll be able to start cooking some of that food I learned how to cook in February because I want some food with some flavor. Ooh, and it was so good, y'all. It was so good. I'm so excited. The rest of my spices came in yesterday. I might order some more masalas though. And I still need to get ginger paste and garlic paste, but I can just get that from the store. I don't have to order that on Amazon. What am I looking for? What was I looking for, y'all? I'm gonna try to keep it lighthearted today. That's my lesson. Lighten up. It was like first my lesson was like speak your truth and don't back down. Now it's like lighten up, you know. You don't have to be like a whole like queen. Ooh. This is really interesting because yesterday the page of the Stronghold of the Zephyrs, Page of Swords, the message she brought was the Four of Wands. And today she's dropping out with the Ten of Cups. So this is what's being presented to us. Right? Because you see the hand from... Oh my gosh! Give me a moment, y'all. Please. One moment. Girl. Things are just so precariously placed now. Because I accidentally somehow broke the little thing. And I'm like, girl, really? For real? Girl, please, 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 girl, please. Lord help me over here. Okay, let's try this again. Let's give this one more try, y'all. One more try. Oof. See, now I don't even know what y'all looking at. Double O, the legendary. Double O, double O. Double O, double O. Actually, this might kind of sort of be better, question mark. Kind of, sort of, maybe. We'll see. We'll just go with it. We just go with it, and we just flow with it. What's this? Oh, the Four of Cups. Oh, goodness. Bear with me, y'all. I'm gonna figure this out eventually. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't necessarily feel the urge to be too... it's like... Where's my concern with how this look based? Like, I do want a certain level of professional. Well, I would prefer if I had an actual setup. Because like I said, like I do got a little bit of a perfectionist in me. But a lot of times what happens is instead of exerting the effort to do it how I would actually want it, I just kind of sort of settle, right? And it's probably time for me to come out of that. But at the same time, I'm working with the space that I have right now, which is not a lot. So I will be grateful that I have that I can do this much, right? So anyway, this Four of Cups, in the Four of Cups, if y'all can see it, I stabbed the box that the camera is on with this card, and then it just tumbled. You see that hand presenting the cup right there? And then we have this angel, the stronghold of the Grail, bringing the Ten of Cups. So again, going back to yesterday, it's like it's offering this one cup, and in the coming months, we're going to be adding a cup by taking it and improving on it. Like I said yesterday, they're going to come with lessons to teach us how to actually use this, but we are ready enough now for the acceptance of it. The rest of it will come, right? And with the Queen of Cups, the ivory shield at the bottom, it's like, I don't know, it's like it's so much that you don't have to worry about. Like, put your faith and your trust in spirits. And now, the stronghold of the flame is at the cut with the Queen of Cups, that Page of Wands. So yeah. Ooh, now we get the the Two of Cups with that Page of Wands, stronghold of the flame. All right. I ain't gonna be on necessarily too long. What am I doing today? Pull and find out. Okay. Oop. Okay, well, he just showed his face. He ain't even wait to be pulled. Interesting. Okay, so the Emperor is what's left at the bottom of the deck. So this card, I pulled the Magician off top and the Hangman, the Outlaw, from the bottom. So we got the Magus and the Outlaw as the top and the bottom, and under this Outlaw was the Emperor. Is that too far? Can you see that? Okay, there we go. I guess let me show these up here so you can actually see them before I set them down. The Magus and the Outlaw. This is Neptune and Mercury energy. Mercury is retrograde right now, so it's like 6 or 7 degrees. Neptune is retrograde, but it might still be like 20, so it's not quite a trine there. But with these two energies, to me, this is all about communicating our desires, our true desires, effectively. Because if we can effectively communicate it, or more effectively communicate it, it leaves room for it to come in the way that we want it more, with less confusion and less like pockets of stagnant energy. For some reason, it's bringing to mind if you have a tank and you have something that mixes it up, sometimes you put baffles on it, and it's to make sure that like as it's stirring, you don't get pockets of space in the tank where the whatever doesn't move, right? It's like everything up here is being stirred, but if it doesn't go down far enough, then the stuff at the bottom just kind of sits there, and like everything else is mixed, but the stuff at the bottom doesn't move. And that's kind of sort of like what this energy is giving me. It's like you have the things that you're creating, you're making movement, making headway with the Magician, but there are some areas that are completely stuck and stagnant with the Outlaw, but it's almost like it's because you're not addressing them. You're not speaking to them. There's no communication of what these things are. And so there needs to be some open and honest communication to really get the ball rolling, and that's going to be 1, 2, or maybe even 3 to 5 of those 9 cups that you learned after you get the 1 from the 10 of cups. Let's just start right here. What's this? Oh, wow. Yes, I love this. I love this. We have the star coming in after the devil. Okay, thank you. Because I was like, oh my gosh, why does that devil have to show his face? Why? The healer, the star. All of this toxic stuff is healing. This is going to be a few of those cups as well. And it almost feels like there are some toxic tendencies that we hold on to not compensate, What's the word? What's the word I'm looking for, y'all? Cope. There are some toxic tendencies that we hold on to cope with this. Is that Frankie? Oh snap! It's the Miz. A whole minute late. I missed 12:12. If he would have sent me that snap a minute earlier, I would have hit it. I actually saw 11:11 today because my laptop is an hour ahead, right? And so on my laptop it said 12:11. So I was like, oh, let me find my phone. 11:11. Woo. I don't know why I haven't switched this to Central Time yet. It's not that pressing to me, honestly. But anyway, it's like there are some toxic tendencies that we're holding on to because we're coping with some things that we leave unaddressed. But again, with this magician energy and the hangman, it's like if we speak to it, if you have faith the size of a grain of a mustard seed, when you speak to the mountain, it will move, right? There's something that you need to speak to. The star is also Aquarian energy, and Aquarius is another air sign, right? So more communication. Imagine that. Imagine that. And then this is water or Neptune. And so this is feelings. Communication, feelings, and the way things are. And it's interesting that Capricorn is like, you would almost think that like, oh, well, maybe not. Because it's Earth. It's the suit of Earth. So it's all long-standing energy, right? But Capricorn is like cardinal Earth. Capricorn is the plan. Capricorn sets the foundation. Taurus is the interior designer. Virgo makes sure that the building is up to code and it follows all the regulations, right? That's the suit of Earth. So as the kind of sort of architect, as the blueprint master, it's interesting that this is devil energy because it's like the devil is something that you feel like you'd be tied to forever, right? But Capricorn is a cardinal energy. It's the beginning. So maybe it's speaking to the beginning that we can have once we put this energy to rest. And it serves us in some ways, right? Like we never know how strong we are until we have to be that strong. We never know how bright things can be without darkness. It's almost like we don't really have a concept of light without dark, right? And you don't have a concept of dark without light. But it's about working beyond that, right? We're building a new foundation. And this is the old foundation that we leave behind. And with this Aquarian star energy here, I love this. Also, this was that full moon lunar eclipse. Uranus is in Taurus. Uranus rules Aquarius, is in Taurus. And the eclipse happened in Capricorn, right? This was 13 degrees. This is like 10 degrees. So there's a 3-degree trine there. It's fairly tight. Not the tightest, but it's not loose. And this actually came out yesterday. I was like, where is Aquarius? Or where is Uranus right now? I was like, oh, Uranus is in Taurus, right? And maybe people, I'm sure people were talking about it. I just haven't been listening to any astrologers lately or listening to anybody talk about the astrology lately because it always makes me feel some type of way. So I just avoid it altogether. Now, it doesn't always make me feel some type of way. I guess like Water Baby, she talks about it sometimes. I could check her out and see. But like the people I were watching, I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna chill for a second. I'm gonna chill because it's like, I don't know. I mean, people always talk about it. Like last time we had these aspects, that happened and this happened, and I'm more interested in learning the lessons so we can create new cycles and new paradigms and a newer energy more so than I am about like repeating it. And it almost seems like we don't really, and maybe it's the way I listen to it, maybe it's the way I hear it and interpret it, but it almost seems like we don't really use it in a cautionary way. It seems like people talk about it in a way like this is going to happen again, this will happen again, when it's like, these aspects, if you have the knowing, if you have the knowledge and the awareness of what happened last time, why wouldn't you then try to do something to prevent it from happening again? Instead of just being like, oh, prepare for this, it's going to happen. I don't know. Let me lighten up. I'm supposed to be light. Oh my gosh, guys. Like, let's do this lesson again. Yes, I'm excited to repeat first grade for the 15th time. Second grade, who wants to go there? What? Division? Girl, multiplication? No, thank you. I'll stay with addition and subtraction. I don't think that's necessarily the point of being lighthearted, but anyway, this is really, really. I love the fact that the healer came out after this because we are healing these toxic tendencies. If y'all have been looking for a healing girl, you're going to be getting it if you do the work to get it. It's going to be 9 of those, some of the 9 of those 10 cups, but again, it requires communication. And it feels like, again, like there's some kind of tendency that you're holding on to cope with a certain situation. But once you bring it to the light and once you begin to heal that, once you make progress on your journey, it's like some of that stuff will just naturally fall away. Because as you work through the trauma and the triggers and the thing that happened in the past, all of the coping mechanisms, that all of the things that like branch off of it, they fall off too, right? It's like you're pulling up a plant by the root. So if you pull that up, all of the roots, like none of the roots are in the ground either. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry as much about it. It'll be a lot easier to put away. I'm going to go here next. This is the 5 of Cups again. Okay. So we saw this earlier with the 10 of Swords. The 5 of Cups is the grotesque. He's holding a dahlia, and dahlia speaks to fate. So it sounds kind of cruel. Let me see if I can. Let me look at this real quick. Scooch these a little closer so I can move this. It is what it is. I'll show y'all the card. Here's the 5 of Cups, the grotesque. If you can see it. This light is a little bright in my face, so I can kind of sort of see that half of the screen. But dahlia is an element of fate, and it sucks to say like you were suffered, or you were fated to suffer this. But there are some things that are on your path that you can only speak to after you've healed from it. And it could be your path to the best way, not the best way, but one of the ways I can put it, I feel like to most succinctly get everything that I want. It's like sometimes it's your path to be a sheep in the herd so that once you liberate yourself from it, you can free other sheep. But it's like you can't necessarily free those sheep if you're not like some of the sheep won't listen to you if you haven't personally gone through what they've gone through, and if you can't personally speak and attest to that. Now this is giving me the 10 of Wands from the Pride Tarot vibe, and it's just the 10 of Wands in general, where it's like, you know, it is this hard for you so that you can learn to escape from it, but then to help others who are in it. It's like with this 5 of Cups, you're strong enough to walk away. And you can also appreciate the people in the past. You can appreciate the situations in the past. Like, that's something that I do all the time. Even if, like, I fall out with somebody, I always appreciate people for who they were to me in the time that I met them, and the time that I knew them, and the time that we were gelling and vibing and flowing. I always appreciate that. And in my mind, I don't have to give that up just because I'm walking away or just because they walk away, right? We can always appreciate what it was for the time, but then know that when we come to spaces of knowing better and when we want more, not everything ages well, right? Some things age like, you know, a glass of milk sitting outside on a hot summer day. Some things age like wine. You know, would you rather drink that glass of wine that is aged to perfection, or would you rather drink a glass of milk that's been sitting out for as long as that wine had been sitting out? You know, it's like I'd rather have the wine, even if you don't drink water, right? Pure water that doesn't get all nasty and gross. But that's what this is about. And dahlia, the dahlia is fate. So, you know, take your time and grieve it and mourn it as you need to, but also don't get stuck in it. And it almost feels like this period of grief is over because this healer is right here. This star is right here. This light is here coming to illuminate the darkness. And so maybe it's like it's time to say your last goodbyes with this misery, with this heartache, with this heartbreak. Because if you stay stuck in this misery and heartache and heartbreak, you're not going to accept the cup that the cloud, that spirit is offering you. And that cup is the first of 10. Now let's come over here. We got the priestess. Girl, I could have pulled her first and just ended this. You already know. Anytime I see the high priestess come out in a reading, I'm like, okay, you already know. Everything I just told you, you already know. Maybe you need confirmation because you ain't necessarily too much feeling it. Or either you already know it or you will know it. Or it's vibing with you. Like if this resonates for you, you will know. If this is for you, you will undoubtedly know. Undoubtedly or undoubtedly? Undoubtedly? Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. I think it's undoubtedly. Girl, I don't know words today. You will undoubtedly know if this is for you or not. That's what the high priestess is saying. To me. To you. To us. To me to tell you. But also at the same time, it feels like there's a little bit of anxiety or worry around accepting that cup. And I heard a term a while ago. It was the first time I heard it, but as soon as I heard it, I knew exactly what it was. Completion anxiety. There may be like some completion anxiety here, but I think the thing to understand is you're not getting all 10 cups at once. You're getting one of the 10, and you get another as you grow, right? It's not like Monopoly where you get that card and it's like um, proceed immediately to go and collect your $200 or whatever, right? Like it's not that. Even though with the high priestess you may be getting the vision, or you may be feeling a lot of what will be happening closer to the end, or not even closer to the end. But one moment, y'all. 1 second. I hope y'all can hear me. I turned my volume like all the way up on this so that like if y'all need to turn it down, y'all can turn it down. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it'd be a little quiet. I showered and I forgot to put on deodorant. And I'm kind of sweating back here because it's a little hot. So I gotta swipe that on real quick. But yeah, it's like to realize that you're not getting it all at once. It's the beginning. So it feels like part of this completion anxiety is because like someone doesn't want to ruin something. Also, someone doesn't feel completely ready. I understand. I'm right there with y'all. Well, I was right there, but again, now it's like I've gotten so used to just showing up. I show up and I do my best in the moment, and that's literally all anyone is asking of us, of you. Just show up and do your best in the moment, at the time. Um, and that's something that I had been learning consciously, kind of, sort of, since it's been a year now, and it started with my summer job last year. Cause ooh, girl, I got Capricorn on my 10th house, so when it comes to work, I'm straight up Capricorn. No jokes, nothing. I take my work very seriously. I take work is the only thing I can be organized in. Literally. Kind of, sort of, literally. The only thing I can find some kind of organization and structure and routine in is work. And work is one of the few things I take very, very, very seriously. And girl, it was too much. It was too much. So I had to learn to live with it. um, I'm just scooch these on over. There we go. Um, and yeah, that was the start. You know, we always build upon things like this, especially if you are intentional about it. And I was extremely intentional starting January of 2019. Um, and that's the thing, right? You don't need to be in game ready. You just need to be ready to accept this first cup. And the first cup is only one cup. And it's like what Abraham Hicks said, because there was somebody, she was like, I manifested this and I manifested that and I got it. And then it was too much. I was scared. I wasn't ready for it. And she was like, it's this thing where we're getting ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. And as long as you're always getting ready, then you will be ready for what comes next. It's when you start freaking out and worrying about being ready for the end game that you start to encounter a lot more hesitation and doubt and fear and worry and anxiety, more so than you need to, because like we're not going from beginning to end. Like if you're at your end game, your life is probably going to be over. It's a continual evolution, it's a continual process, and you may be taking a leap right now, yes, but it's not like the end all be all. There's still more to grow, and I think there's a heavy emphasis on that. Excuse me, and that's one of the times where a vision can. It's not that it hurts you more than it helps you, but it can add a little bit of pressure in an area where there may not necessarily need to be that much pressure. And I think this thing just shifted again, but it is fine. I'm not going to touch it because I might knock it over again. Now, oh my gosh, take the leap, and then there's the fool. Okay, yeah, so literally what I just said. Literally what I just said. Everything that you need to be ready for this phase, you have it. But also, it will stretch you and it will grow you. And I guess that's one thing that I need to really say. It's not going to be extremely easy, but as you are right now, you are more than qualified to take that first step. And we're kind of sort of in some ways always more than qualified. But again, it's like us discovering exactly how qualified we are, and we don't give ourselves the chance to do that if we never take the opportunity, if we never take the leap. And again, just like you don't know how strong you have to be until you're in the situation, you don't know how qualified you are until you're actually doing the work. And you're like, oh my gosh, like this is it? Like I thought it would be harder. It's like, no, you're fine. And then we have the Seven of Cups, the Corruptor. The Seven of Cups Corruptor speaks to the 7 deadly sins and ego and how we sort of make choices from them. With the 5 of Cups here, I'm going to pull one more card, girl, because we're going to get her clarified. But with the 5 of Cups and the High Priestess here, if we're talking about that completion anxiety, okay. Stronghold of the Grail. Alright, so I guess I'll be pulling 2 cards. Or maybe I'll take this as the Page of Wands. No, I'm going to pull another card. This is a Page of Wands, or a Page of Pentacles energy, but it's also going to be bringing in something. I think this is going back to the completion energy, and it's also going back to these coping mechanisms. This is us, like, if we're not making this jump, we're sort of getting into that. We're seeking out the medicine. The medicine of Neptune is, it can be toxic. And very, very, like, the difference between the medicine of Neptune and the, I don't want to say the toxin, but it's like either it's medicine or it's toxic. It's like it's very, very small. Too much Neptune gets you in a space of delusion and fantasy where you're not seeing things as they are. But Neptune in moderation will enforce the vision of the High Priestess and it'll expand you enough to approach things in a creative way that aren't necessarily run-of-the-mill. And sometimes you need a solution that is more inventive and out of the box and creative to solve the problem, right? Especially if you're encountering a problem that you feel you don't have the tools to solve, right? It's like, use your tools, but in a different way. And then you'll be able to get it. But this is seeking, like, this is too much Neptune. This energy right here, it's almost like this or this. Either you're going to take the leap and you're going to move forward, which is like, it's connected to this devil energy, but you're going to give this star the chance to heal the devil by walking away with the 5 of Cups. or you'll be stuck in this like completion anxiety mode where you're self-medicating to cope with the weight of not going after something that makes you happy. This is settling and coping with the Seven of Cups. That's what this is. This is settling and coping, and this is asking you to take the step forward. Again, with this Magician, I'm feeling like communication is one of the most important things that will really align these two energies in a way that is beneficial to get you to move in a direction that maybe you didn't think you were capable of, or get you to move in a more desirable direction, which is especially better than coping. At least try. And I know sometimes trying is the hardest thing. Believe me, girl, y'all are not helpful today. Y'all are not helpful today. Okay, I guess this is a mind my business. I'll take it as mind my business. I did get one card though. The one card reinforcing that communication is very, very important right now is this Knight of Swords. And we see the Universal Mercury right here and that, right? And again, that's the Magician energy. Oh, we have the Fool and the Magician. This is where the Magician starts. Communication, and then I got another Messenger. That's why I said it's not helpful, because I was like, let me get one more card. I get a Messenger, so I'll pull another card, and then here comes another Messenger. Girl. But we have the Page of, I love this though, because we have the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. So the message here is like, this is something, not only will it bring you major fulfillment through that Ten of Cups, cup by cup. This is the beginning. This is the first cup. And even like the first cup in that 10 was the biggest. Like this, I don't want to say it's the biggest step, but it's one of the biggest steps because it requires the most faith. And it's like the more you step, the more solid your faith becomes, the more comfortable you are. And it's like we're not leaping every single time we take a step, right? We go from like leapfrog and what is that? What is that? Hopscotch? I think it's hopscotch. I can't even remember hopscotch. It's not always leapfrog or hopscotch. At a certain point, we can begin walking because it doesn't feel like we're taking leap after leap after leap as our faith builds, as we get more comfortable, as we get more and more and more cups. It's like, okay, you know. And I think this is an intersection of desire and practicality. I think we're going to be very, very, very fulfilled. And not only fulfilled, but like happy. And happiness and fulfillment, abundant. We're going to be abundant and we're going to be doing something that we enjoy. There is joy and stability here. Joy and stability. But it requires this communication and it requires movement. It requires communication and strategic movement, intentional movement, right? Because with this Seven of Cups energy and with this Devil energy and the Five of Cups sort of sitting against the High Priestess, the Star, and the Fool, it's like the energy closest to us is leading us in that direction that we don't want to be in. The High Priestess is very ethereal. The Star, very ethereal. The Fool, it requires a lot to make that step. Right? It's like all of the hopeful cards are leaps or things that we don't yet have currently. But it's to stay strong and it's to keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. I need to watch Meet the Robinsons again. I've been saying keep moving forward so much. Keep moving forward. And I'm gonna get the final message and then I'll wrap this up here. I need to get me some good eats. Ooh, that Five of Pentacles. It's either communicate or like you are so supported in this. Like so supported. There are so many people, so many entities, so many spirits, your guides, and actual people who are invested in your happiness because they care about you and they want you to be happy. And at the end of the day, there's that Ten of Cups again with the Devil, girl. At the end of the day, don't let that devil steal your joy. Don't let the devil steal your joy. At the end of the day, you got to want it for yourself. You got to want you to be happy, and you got to do things that will make you happy. Let's see what the last card does. Oh, there it is. It just flipped over. I think it's the angel. No, girl, I'm not taking it. We pulling two. They said take it. Just take it. Just take it. Bottom of the deck is the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. Alright. So with the bottom of the deck being the Knight of Pentacles, again, it's all about steady progress. But this Knight of Pentacles also has wings. Right? And so with the wings of the Knight of Pentacles here, and then the tower is behind that Knight of Pentacles. The tower is behind this Knight of Pentacles. So this is about pulling yourself out of an energy that may not be able to stand without you. But it's like it's toxic anyway. Right? It's like you're like if you're like a person in a pool, like fish in a pond, right? But if you're a person in the pond, it's like everything else in the pond, like they're all leeches, and so they all sort of depend on you to keep themselves going. But at the end of the day, like, do you want to just be like leech food, or do you want to actually go after what makes you happy? And again, so with the wings here, whereas the Fool is a leap of faith, it's like it's typically leaping off of a cliff. It's like you can fly, horse. Like you have wings. You ain't gotta just like careen off the side of this cliff. The wings here, like you are guided and protected. You are not going to fall. You are not going to fail. Right? These wings may be your like spirit, your angelic team there to assist and support you. And again, this is that coping energy. It's instead of making that leap, instead of making that move, it's self-medicating to keep yourself either stuck or to put yourself in the illusion of movement, right? It's like when you're tripping and you're like, oh my gosh. But in reality, you ain't gone nowhere. It's kind of sort of that energy. So all the best, love and light. I am gonna try to chill out more, y'all. A lot more. It's a lot that I'm working through, and it's like it's lesson after lesson after lesson. And the first lessons again were learning how to speak, using your voice, standing strong. Now it's time for me to learn to dial it back a little bit, because there are parts of me that are caring, kind, and compassionate, and that are patient. And it's not for me to neglect those parts just because, one second. Oop. It's not for me to neglect those parts just because, like, I'm doing something else. That's the thing about, that can be one of the things about the nodes, is like, excuse me, it is for us to leave our comfort zone, yes, but it's not for us to leave the parts of ourselves that are also parts of ourselves. And those are parts of me, right? I do actually enjoy helping people. I don't enjoy being taken advantage of, but I do enjoy helping people. And so I used to be good at explaining things to people in a way that they would understand it. And it came from like empathy and compassion and other things that I was able to do that. And I need to continue to carry that with me. So I already talked to my girl Mimi. I was like, girl, I think you were right, and I do need to lighten up. LOL. It's a journey. I'm still learning. Ain't nobody perfect, right? What did Hannah Montana say? No one is perfect. I gotta work it. It's been a minute. I ain't heard my girl Miley, Hannah. I haven't heard Hannah in a minute. All right. Bye, y'all.